Good morning, mighty warriors. Good to have you on with me this morning. Ron Paglarulo here. Shelly Faircloth in the house. Matt, good morning. Lisa, good morning. Roseanne, good morning. You're on your way to God's mountain, Mount Zion. All right. Good morning, Angie. As you come on board, if you're logged in, if you wonder how people say good morning, you log into the app. Now, I've got some really good news. If you like to watch the Super Victorious morning huddles or our Bible studies, whatever, I just found out, I'm not sure 100%. I think they made an announcement, but I'm not sure if it's 100% yet. If you have a Google TV, you'll know it because it has, it's an Android-based TV, and you could access all your, channels and your streaming services. Google TV now has the Super Victorious app on it. Roku, if you have a Roku TV or a Roku device, now has the Super Victorious app on it. If you have Fire Stick, the Amazon Fire Stick, you can now download the Super Victorious app, and you can watch us on your TV, in addition to supervictorious.org on the website, or on YouTube. So you have multiple ways to get it. The only thing we're not on anymore is Facebook, but we're here and you've got it. Hello, Tony. Good morning. Last night was a great teaching again. I'm encouraging you to at least watch the replays if you can't get on, about the return of Jesus and the battle-ready saints. And we're going into some serious times here, folks. We definitely are, and we've got to know these things. And for those who are on and joining me on the app or live in person, they're getting a tremendous amount out of it. So I would encourage you to jump on and do that as well. So we're going to have a little spiritual espresso this morning. This morning we're going to talk about, let me go over here. Good morning, Mom. Matt says, yeah, Roku. We're going to continue what we talked about the other day, yesterday, as a matter of fact, and we're going to talk about now your compelling compulsion. Remember, I said there were 6 needs that we have as human beings that really determine our level of satisfaction and fulfillment. And this is something I believe in very, very strongly, that we have these needs to feel certain, to feel variety, to feel important and valued, to feel connected and loved, to feel like we're growing, to feel like we're contributing, and then to feel like we're spiritually awake. And I told you that Jesus is the fulfillment of all of these. He's the master key. But out of those things that we talked about, there's really 2 primary, I call them locks, that really drive you, that really push your behaviors and how you act and how you respond. Good morning, Josephine. And you should know what yours are, because they're there working behind the scenes all the time, and it's how your personality is hardwired. And believe me, there's no right or there's no wrong. Everybody is hardwired exactly the way God hardwired us, for a purpose and for a reason, as the ambassadors of Christ. But you can't be unconscious about these. Okay, so number 1, if you think about a door, you're always doing this. You're always doing something, number 1, to feel number 2. There's like, out of those 6, there's one that it's just always, there's something that you're always doing to get that feeling. And then you do that one to feel a really strong feeling with number 2, if this makes sense. And remember, we're talking about recalibrating here. It's good to recalibrate. And if you're not happy with your results, and if you're not happy with what's going on, or you're not happy with how you behave, or We don't have an owner's manual. So your beliefs in this caliper, CALIPER, the C are your conclusions, which are your values, your beliefs, your convictions, your generalizations, your conclusions. A is your attitude, and then L is this lock that you have. And knowing it, then you could not have to work unconsciously with this need, this compelling compulsion. So let's look at this word compelling compulsion. Compelling means it evokes interest, attention, or admiration in a powerfully irresistible way. It's not able to be resisted. It's overwhelming. It's compelling. And a compulsion means it's the action or state of forcing or being forced to do something. I'm not talking about sin here, and I'm not talking about I'm talking about just in your personality, you have this compelling compulsion. It's an irresistible urge to behave in a certain way, especially against one's conscious wishes. But you can consciously be aware of this, and you can be consciously aware of when your compelling compulsion is driving you. It's called a driving force. We're going to use this word locked, LOCKED. Locked. I promise you get this. You could change the direction of your life. You could change how you feel every day. You could change why you do things when you get to know this. Now, the lock, we'll start with an L, and I call this a lion. Some people might say, you might hear I'm a lion. Well, I'm not talking about a lion like a lion of Judah or anything like that. I'm just talking about a way for you to visually picture. A lion would be somebody who has this compelling compulsion to always feel like their self-esteem and my worth, and their do I matter? Am I significant? They want to achieve and feel important. They're very competitive. They want to feel like they're valued. And there's this feeling that I do a lot of things to feel, or I talk in a way and I speak to people in a way, or I do things to make sure that you're trying to get this feeling of feeling significant, important, valued. You're asking questions like achievement and achievers, and they like to be recognized. They like to be influential, an influencer, unique, renowned, revered, prominent, exceptional, distinguished, the top. Now, as I talk about these things, you kind of check off the box. Do these words mean anything to me? Maybe famous, number one. Just kind of write this down. L, lion, significance. Well, on the opposite side of the spectrum, you have what we call an offering. An offering is their compelling compulsion is always to feel like they have to give back and make a difference and donate and charity and helping others. And, a lion might be a person like you. If you're at a party with a lion, they might one-up you. You say one thing and then they say another thing. They're not doing it from a bad point. They're doing it because they want people to know that I matter. And their achievements and their awards. An offering, though, at a party might be the one who's getting the vacuum at the end of the party, or, hey, let me help clean up, and they stay afterwards, or they come early and let me bring some food. Let me help set up the table. They're always looking to say, how do I help? They like philanthropy and giving and alms and contribution. If they saw something, oh, let's go work the food line. Missions. I'm not saying all of these are going to be, but I'm just saying there's going to be something, and you might ask somebody else, if you don't recognize it. Am I a contributor? Am I an offerer? An offering? Am I a lion? Do I act like sometimes I need to go ahead and to be the best and I'm always there trying to push myself to get recognition? Or am I the person who's always looking to give back and make a difference and help? You'll see. You'll know which one. And I could probably tell you what you are if I spent time with you, because I do this a lot. That's an offering. Well, what is a she then? The C is the connector. They have this drive in them to feel like they are part of a team and they need to connect with people and they love people. And if they were at a party, they're talking to everybody. And by the end of the party, everybody knows the connector. They like being part of something bigger. Here. You can look at the opposite. A connector, if you take them away from people and you put them and you isolated them, they would feel, man, they would almost get to the point where I'm feeling really out of sorts because I need people around me. I need to be part of the team. If they were working by themselves in a job and if there was a lonely job, they'd probably feel like it was the opposite. Like a lion, if they weren't able to achieve and do things, none of these are bad or good. And you're going to see, I have the little keys here. How you get the key, what key you use can make a big difference. The opposite of a lion would be no recognition. At least give me a pat on the back. Notice they might do things in a situation to say, hey, notice me, notice what I did. An offering, if you told an offering, please don't help. Please just sit down. Don't do anything. I don't want you to help me. I don't want you to do the dishes. And then all of a sudden they feel out of sorts. A connector, you take them away from being around people and being part of a team and they're bridge builders and they want to always be like banded together, united. You put them alone and all of a sudden they feel out of sorts. Start thinking about it. Yeah, that really feels like how I like to, because this is just how you're wired. It's not a bad thing. The knowledge in that locked, L-O-C-K, is they've got this compelling compulsion to know things and grow and understand things and solve problems and research. And they want to know how things work. They're always reading deeper into things. They have this need to constantly grow. Understanding and specializing in something and education and absorbing things and studying and training and mastery. They're well-versed. They might value wisdom highly. You take a knowledge-driven person and if they can't figure something out or improve on something, they start to feel out of sorts. Think about it. Think about your personality. And then you have the insurer. The insurer is about checklist Charlie. They want certainty. They want guarantees. They want to do things that are safe. They want to do things that are going to keep them alive. They want security and stability and checks and balances. And they got to have all the ducks in a row. I like order. A lot of times they want everything clean and they want everything in its place and they want everything. They don't want anything out of disorder. They like things that are predictable. Don't give me any surprises. What's going to protect me? I don't want things to change. They like certifications and definiteness. There's no doubt about things. You make an insurer really out of sorts when you start changing things up and there's no plan. There's no checklist. Well, I don't know. Let's go wing it. Drive them nuts. And a lot of times an insurer will start to control things because they want things in an order. And sometimes they'll control people because they want them in an order. There's two. There's one that is always going to be dominant. And I'm going to tell you the reason. I'm going to tell you when we end this what mine are. Think about it. Yeah, I really like when things are in order, in a place. And anything that's out of order messes me up. And then you have the dynamic personality. They're driven by variety and excitement and adventure and surprise and uncertainty. Excitement. Those are the people who might go bungee jumping or they got to have activities that get their adrenaline pumping. My son is a dynamic. He's driven. My brother is driven by the need to have dynamic excitement and variety in their life. Diversity, uncertain. They're impulsive. They'll just do things. Let's do it because they like to sometimes push people's buttons and be a little bit of a trouble starter because it gives them some excitement if they're bored. Boredom to a person who's dynamic, knocks them right out of sorts. They love surprises. They love wildness. They're the people who might like to travel and just go visit different places and have the excitement. And it's never the same place twice. It's never the same restaurant twice. It's just about, I want some excitement. Frenzy, chaos is good for them. They love chaos. An insurer, I hate chaos. But a dynamic, I love chaos. I love when things start to get excitement and there's some drama. I get that buzz. This is very, very, very low on my, and if you rank them 1 through 6, what would be the top? Right? For me, I'm a knowledge lion. I like to grow and I like to know and I like to study and I like to improve. I'm driven by the need to improve things, which could be good or could be bad. And I do those things to feel significant. To feel important, to feel that I matter. When I was in school, I loved studying and learning, but I was always the first person to raise my hand. Teacher, I know the answer. Teacher, I know the answer. Teacher, I know the answer. And my teacher would say, Ronnie, I know you know the answer. Let somebody else answer. Wasn't bad, but and the reason why I call it a lion is because you can't tell a lion that you have a need to feel significant because they'll argue with you. So I called it a lion because what happens when you have 2 lions? They want to play who's the king of the mountain. These are just ways for you to remember. Think about this. What might be yours? What might be that drives you? My son's a dynamic lion. My son likes to do exciting things because it makes him feel important. I like to learn and grow because it makes me to feel important. My wife is an insurer first. She's got to have everything in order. She's got to have everything organized. She's got to have everything in a place. She likes to have checklists and a plan and review the plan and review the plan again and review the plan again so she can connect with people. And she can't feel connected with people like I can't feel significant unless I'm growing and improving. My wife can't connect with people unless she's got everything insured. Think about this. Why do I bring this up? Because you're going to do these things no matter what. You might want to ask somebody, what do you think is my number 1 driving force? What do you think my number 2? My mom asks, what am I? Mom, you are a contributing connector. You're very similar to my daughter, Kayla. My mom is there. You don't have to ask my mom to help. You don't have to ask my mom to bring things. She's always thinking about what else can I do to contribute? How can I help? How can I clean up? She'll grab the vacuum. She'll be at the sink cleaning. She'll be cleaning the coffee maker. I'm thinking about if it's a party. And why does she do that? Because it allows her to connect. And if I took away my mom's ability to contribute, she doesn't feel connected with people. My daughter Kayla is the exact same way. Can you listen? If someone uses these words with a contributor, an offering, hey, can you help me out? Don't say no more. I'm there. Hey, can you help me? And what happens is sometimes people take advantage of that. They might not realize it, but they can see that you're willing to help. And sometimes lions like to have offerings around them because it makes them feel significant while the offering is just really there to try to help. Mom, does that make sense? Would you agree with me? You go ahead and think about it. Am I stuck in this? You're not stuck in it, but I promise you it is a driving force, and it's very, very difficult to just say, I don't want to be a lion. And it's very difficult to say, I don't want to be an offering. Or some people are connectors. Well, I have to connect too much. I was with a guy who I loved, one of my close brothers, and we were on a business trip, and he had to just go somewhere. I have another friend like that's the same way. I just got to go where people are. I got to go to a restaurant. I got to walk. I got to go meet people. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm in the hotel alone. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm really not a connector. It's like my third. But the first two really, really, really drive you. And we got to be willing to recalibrate. What do we recalibrate? Not that if you're a lion or a connector or an insurer or dynamic or knowledge. That's how you're hardwired. But what you can do is change how you get those needs fulfilled. I call it like a little Seymour. Remember Seymour? Feed me, Seymour. Remember the movie? What movie was that? That was The Little Shop of Horrors. And there was that Seymour just constantly needed to eat. Well, it's going to drive your personality. It's going to. But what you need to determine is what kind of keys are you using to get that need fulfilled. And if you're unconscious of this and you're not aware of what drives your personality, unconsciously, you're going to do things, whether you know it or not, that are going to try to get that need fulfilled. Now, you could use a neutral key. A neutral means it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel bad. It's not good for you or bad for you. It's not good for or bad for others. And it really doesn't help or hurt the greater good. But it makes you feel that feeling, and you're doing this in a way that's just kind of neutral. Like, I know I've got lion in my personality, so I like unique things. And I like cheap watches that look good that nobody else has. And it's like, I have a watch. Where did you get that watch? I might have got it for $59. And it looks great, but I never saw anybody else with it. I was with a customer the other day, and I had a watch that, nobody has this watch. I got it for Christmas. And the guy said, oh, you have a Steinhardt? Oh, you got it from this company. Oh, I got the same one. And I was like, now, I know nobody else really has it, but I'm like, man, because I like to feel unique. Well, you could also use a key that's disempowering. I don't care if you're a connector. How can it be negative to be a contributor and have something that's disempowering? I'll show you. A disempowering key, it feels good in the moment when you do it, but it's really bad for you. It's really bad for others, and it disempowers the greater good. What would be an example of something that's disempowering to get your need felt? I'll give you an example. One Christmas, my brother and his family were over for Christmas, and we were hanging out. Here's my brother wants to go hiking, and where are we going to go, and where are we going to go visit, and where we're going to do all this stuff. I'm like, and I wasn't really feeling like I was growing. That's why I'll read or study or do something by myself. But my son got a Rubik's Cube. And I started playing with this Rubik's Cube. Remember, I'm driven to feel the need like I'm growing. I got this Rubik's Cube and I'm playing with it. And I'm like, and then I start writing it down. I start watching YouTube videos. And I start writing an instruction manual. I'm going to figure out how to do this. Well, my wife tells me like 3 days later, she goes, what is wrong with you? You've been sitting over here in the corner on the couch for the last 3 days trying to figure out a Rubik's Cube. And when your brother's here, your family's here, what are you doing? unconsciously, this need for me to grow and figure things out was, and I said, so stupid. I can't believe it. It was taking over. So it was really not disempowering. It was not really a positive thing. It was disempowering. I'm going to take a couple extra minutes today. If you're getting something out of this, tell me that you're following me so far. Are you following me? I promise you, there's two that drive your personality, whether you agree with them or not. You could also have a harmful key. Like I have a family member who's a connector, and this family member always has a sickness or always kind of whines and complains when people don't connect with them. And when anybody's using a key that's negative or disempowering or harmful, guess what? Other people don't want to be around you. And this person has a need to feel connected, but they do it in a harmful way or really a disempowering way. And people are like, oh, that's so annoying. All they want to do is feel connected, but the thing that they want, they're not getting it done in a positive way. Harmful key feels bad. It doesn't even feel good. It hurts, damages, or destroys you. It hurts, damages, or destroys others. And it hurts, harms, or destroys the greater good. So you get to choose. Here's what I'm going to tell you what you can choose. How am I going to get my driving force fulfilled in a way that is empowering, beneficial? Let's go over these last two and then we're done. And I want you to think about this. Then you have the ability to choose a beneficial key. It actually might not feel good, like exercise, but it's actually good for you when you exercise. It's actually good for others when you exercise, and it actually helps the greater good, but it doesn't really feel good at the moment. And the key is how to make a beneficial key turn into an empowering key. And an empowering key is now you're consciously choosing, how do I get this need to feel connected done in a how can I connect with people instead of whining or complaining or telling people that they never call or they never connect or they never reach out? Well, guess what? They're never going to reach out anymore because you're making them feel bad. You're doing it in a way. What's a way that it feels good for you? It empowers you. It empowers others. And it empowers the greater good. This is the key of maturity here, because you're going to start recalibrating. If you're a lion and you've got to be a show-off, if you're a lion and you're going to dominate a conversation, and you're a lion that you're always bragging about what you're doing, you might have to say, I don't realize I'm doing that. But how can I feel significant and important in a way that doesn't annoy others, disempower you, or it's harmful? Someone does drugs. Why would someone do drugs? Because they're getting their need fulfilled. But they're doing it in a harmful way. It's bad for them. It's bad for others. It's bad for the greater good. So think about this. What two do you think drive you? And be conscious of and recalibrate how you're getting that need filled. I'm at the point, this is just something that I know, and I've been studying this for years. You know, you can watch a TV show, you can watch an interview, you can watch a reality show, and you go, wow, that person is a lion. Don't do something to a lion to make them feel insignificant, because they will react. Or that person's just trying to connect. Or look, that person's just they're an insurer. Look how their language, it'll signal. I know this is a little bit longer today, but I want you to get this one. And when you get it, you're going to go, makes sense. You might have to ask somebody else, what am I? You feel like this is how I act? I would love to be a connector at the top. I would love to automatically want to connect with people. I can't change that. God didn't hardwire me that way. I got to work really hard to connect with people. All right. So maybe Shelly says she got something out of this. Maybe nobody else did, but if it's me and Shelly and Roseanne who's giving me some feedback, maybe it's us three. But that compulsion is going to be there. You just got to know, how do I use it? And how do I control it and not let it control me? All right? Dear Lord, we thank you for this day, and we thank you that you hardwired us for your purposes. You made us the way you made us. Now we got to learn how to submit desires and needs and the flesh driving us to ways that are beneficial, that are God-pleasing. Use wisdom to be self-aware. Lord, mold us and make us, shape us, so we are doing things that glorify you, in ways that glorify you, in ways that reflect you, Jesus. Nothing's bad or nothing's good in these things, but how we get that need filled, Lord God, is what we need to submit to you. We thank you and we praise you. In the mighty name of Jesus. Come on, let's just agree together. It is done. It is done. You want to go watch this again? It'll be on the replay. Take a little time to study it. Reach out to me if you have questions. I love you guys. Have a great, awesome day. Be blessed and not stressed. Come on. 1, 2, 3. It is done in the mighty name of Jesus. Have a great day, guys. Phil's on tomorrow. Talk to you guys later.